Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Spiritual sex and candy, yeah.
Hey, all you sensual souls. Welcome to Spiritual Sex and Candy. I am Heather, your Shamanic Sweetener, and we, of course, have my illustrious co host, JP Adkins, our Freedom Jedi.
Hello,
And
everyone. Hi, Heather. It's so nice to see you.
it is so nice to be seen this evening. This is 1 year.
One friggin' year.
1 year we've been doing this bad boy,
Uh,
which seems really crazy when you think about it.
it really does, and it's been such a blessing, and I can't imagine my life without it. And I can't imagine it's just what I do on Tuesdays, and okay, I have a show,
Yeah,
um, and we've learned so much.
we have
We've learned
learned
so
so
much.
We've been through so much in this past year since this started. I mean, think about it. A year ago, actually, technically a year ago today, I was April 1st, I was like still in the hospital.
You were in the
And then,
hospital
like,
still.
that's been a year,
Yeah,
which is like so wicked crazy to think that that was a year ago.
yeah, because it would have been because you got home like what 4 hours before we went live,
Yeah. Yep.
like craziness.
It is
And we are so
crazy.
grateful that we have you with us. And,
Thanks.
you know, you didn't, your flesh any disease and eat all your flesh. And,
Right. No, was not right. Yeah, that came later, right? Because I was in
oh,
the
that's
hospital
right.
because I couldn't breathe.
Right. That's
And
right.
then I had a flesh eating infection all over. Just kidding. It wasn't really flesh eating, you guys. But
No. Yeah.
we are on
It's,
episode 39. And here is our spiel. We are a trigger warning. This is your warning right now to leave if you are easily offended. We are going to talk about every fucking thing. We say fuck a lot. We don't give a fuck. We talk about whatever the fuck we want. And yeah, so if you are easily offended, if you're easily triggered, all of those things we do, things come up, and we're going to talk about whatever comes up. And that could mean sexual assault, that could mean domestic violence, we talk about drugs, it says it in the name. We're obviously going to talk about sex. So if you are easily offended, we love you, we care for you, we want the best for you, but this is probably not the podcast for you. So go forth and find something else because we don't really give a shit about your opinion.
no. I'm sorry. Sorry. Not
We don't
sorry.
care. We don't care. And we're on episode 39 because though, it's year we've had, some reasons why we couldn't do things. But today is the porn effect because why not kick it off spicy for year number 2? We're going to talk about the porn effect, examining the role in relationships and sexuality. Because
Yeah.
porn has changed in our lifetime.
I, so the reason why we haven't had anything in the last couple of weeks is actually my fault. I was in Nashville and I was speaking at Movie Maker Live. It was phenomenal. It was amazing. And then my niece surprised me with tickets to Dollywood, and I was like, "Yes, I'm going." And so things got pushed off and pushed back.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Sorry, not sorry." Um,
Not
but
sorry,
one,
never sorry.
but one
I
of the
mean, we
things
have
that was
lives outside of doing this, and because we do it live, you guys, that changes things, right? Because we do this weekly. We don't get together once a month and record all day long
right.
to do 2 months worth of stuff or content and stuff. We Every Tuesday night we sit down together and have an off the cuff conversation about something
Real and raw, and
real and
answer
raw. Yeah,
questions. And this is a conversation, guys. It
yeah.
really is a conversation. And what was cool though is that one of the things I said in my speech, I just totally lost my train of thought. What I was going to say there. I said a lot in my speech. We'll probably go back to
It's
that. But know that I say things I said things in that speech that's got to be really relevant here, right
It's
here
going
in
to be
this
really
conversation.
relevant at some point during this conversation because porn has changed. I was thinking about this earlier today. Um,
That's what it
I
was.
am not I'm not for porn or against porn. I'm kind of middle ground with porn. Um, but the views on this show are our personal opinion. Again, don't come at us. We don't give a shit. Um, so porn has changed so much over the years. So when we were kids, because we're Gen Xers, and so when we were kids, best Gen X,
Hmm.
um, like our parents, they had VHS tapes of porn. My parents did.
Yeah, we didn't find those until like way later. But my dad collected Playboy and had
Oh, I found some Playboy. Yeah, I
all the
had
all the old ones.
as a kid, I found some Playboy and some Hustler.
Yeah,
You ever find your parents' stash of stuff when you were a kid?
I
We totally
did.
found all the things.
Yeah, we found
All the things.
quite a bit. We found the porn. The porn was convenient, and I think they deliberately took a box off of the stack when we reached a certain age.
Oh, and then just made it kind of available
A
to
little
you.
bit more available, a little bit more like it wasn't as much of a secret anymore. Like
Right.
here it is, like put it back, you know,
Right. Don't don't make the pages stick
stick
together.
together. But my dad had all the collectible ones, like Marilyn Monroe and Dolly Parton
Ooh.
and all of the like all of them he collected.
Yeah, I don't know that my dad was really a collector. But he definitely had some, or they did. I
Yeah,
don't know. We never really talked about it though. As an adult, my dad probably would have been totally down to talk to me about that stuff. Because at the end, like my dad and I talked about everything. Like, I mean, I did drugs with my dad, so there's
yeah.
that part. You know. Um,
See, I couldn't imagine really talking to my dad about that, but we had so many issues with my sexuality. Not necessarily like he was like mad or angry or anything like that, but just didn't understand me and didn't understand what was going on. So
yeah. So we just don't talk about
we
it.
just don't talk about it, right? Like
Yeah.
like I said, he gave Eddie the same talk he gave my sister's husbands.
It's
You know,
funny.
um, these the people in this family, the women in this family are crazy, and Jeff takes more after the women. So
That's fantastic.
yes,
That's
um,
fantastic.
and he warned them like you've been around long enough, you know better. There's no takebacks.
Right. No takesy backsies. Right. Once I give her to you, she's yours,
She's
right?
yours, yeah.
Yeah.
And but
I mean,
like
that's funny because my dad, that's one thing I'm blessed. If you've been listening long enough and if you listen to the first episode, we kind of touched base on this. Our first episode was the 10-year anniversary of my dad's passing, right? So tomorrow will be 11 years, which gets me all up in my feels about that. You know, but I'm blessed that my dad and I had a great relationship towards the end. Like I said, where we talked about all kinds of things. And with my ex-husband, he just was we I was lucky my dad got to walk me down the aisle. I think that was the whole purpose of like my whole marriage because he was not well when he walked me down the aisle. And he got to do it twice in 1 year because we got married twice in 1 year. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's just well, from all accounts, the marriage that's all the marriage actually lasted was a year. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. That is true. It's true. We
So
were separated before my dad passed away. And just it like 2 days ago would have been our 12-year anniversary.
wow,
So now it's 12 years ago that my kids officially became my kids. That's what
you got the kids, and that
I
was the
got the kid.
important part.
Yeah, I got the kids.
Yeah. My dad came home today from the hospital. Yay.
Yay.
Um, So that's why I'm in somewhere different. I'm in the RV, but I'm not at home. I'm not at there. So everything's tore up on where I normally am. And I'm on the Chromebook for the first time ever. So you get
That's
different
actually
language.
really nice.
You're getting a lot of different things. I just wish I had a way to cover up some of the light behind me.
But that's okay.
It's gonna get dark here in a second, anyways. It'll be all right.
So let's get into our subject.
Porn.
The porn effect. That's a great name too.
That
The
you,
porn
that,
effect.
the porn
right?
effect.
I don't mind porn. I actually used to have a subscription to Playboy. Me.
Okay.
And I don't know. Nowadays, it's so readily available that what used to be like a fun thing when you could just look up a couple, you had to like search for it. You had to really like, now there's so much porn out there that I think it has desensitized and given the younger generations and even our generation, to be honest, some of our generation, an unrealistic view of what sex should be like.
There was I was in a conversation somewhere, I can't remember where it was, but it was in a conversation a while ago, like a few years ago. And they worked with middle-aged school kids. And what they were
Middle school children.
Yes, middle school children.
Middle school age children. Okay.
Aged children. Yes. So like
Sorry that my brain went, wait a minute.
And then I had to like question how I said that.
School children, and I'm like, hold on, what?
No, middle school age children.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. I had a word wrong. I got it. But she was working with middle school age children, and they were talking. She was talking to one of the gym coaches, and he said that the boys were making fun of one of the other boys because he had pubes.
Oh.
And what didn't shave them.
Oh.
Because porn has given them an idea that they shouldn't have pubes.
Oh, wow.
And so in middle school, when we were in middle school, that was like a badge of honor. You got your pubes. Yeah, you're starting your puberty. You know, you
right.
got a couple hairs.
You're ready to drop.
Right. You're showing off the pimple that you have because your hair didn't grow in right, and all the things.
Right.
Yeah. And now they're like, no, you have to shave them off. So
and then here's my whole thing with that. I mean, as a woman giving head, I definitely like when a man manscapes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying fully shaved because no, but I just don't want a face full of hair. I trim for you, trim for me. But the other side of that is like the fact that middle school kids are talking about harassing another student because they do not shave their pubic hair. I wouldn't trust now I have grandkids that are that age. I have 3 grandsons that are that age. 2 of those grandsons, like all 3 of them, I wouldn't trust them with a razor near their balls to begin with.
Yeah,
I just say like the whole thought of that is like, that's not a good idea. That is not a good idea.
Even when I did, okay, so I manscape. I do not shave my balls. It is not going to happen. Because every time I tried, I have nicked myself, and I'm like, fuck that. If you want to shave them yourself.
Spot.
Right, and it bleeds a lot, and it's nasty, and it's like, no. I do trim. I trim everything. Everything's nice.
Right.
Nice and neat. It's neat. Right. Every couple of weeks I go through and just like do a zoom with a number 3 or so, and just like just easy. But yeah, it's because porn is so readily available, and they were watching so much porn.
Yeah.
Then most porn guys shave,
Right.
you know.
And
So
that's for cleanliness.
yeah, it makes
Right.
it
That's
easier to
I
clean
mean
up.
that's it's a cleanliness thing. I
So
mean, so I dated a guy years ago, the creeper, we'll call him because he was.
mhm,
One of his things, um, besides the other thing, he was addicted to porn. So he would sit around all day and look at porn and jack off or do whatever it was. I don't know. He was shit faced anyway. He was drunk the majority of the time, but he had a huge porn addiction, and that was something that like, and we watched porn together. So I'm not anti porn, you know.
mhm.
Like we watched porn together. I had fucking Playboy, so this was not. I brought girls home. Like I was the like you wanted me to be your girlfriend because I'm fucking a down ass chick. Like
Right. Let's play.
huh?
Let's play.
Right, let's play. Exactly. He's the one that I was with when I got kicked out of the adult store. I got kicked out of a porn store for giving head to another patron. That was a fun night though, to
That
be
was
fair.
funny. I totally.
We were watching porn in
I
one of the,
in one of the booths. I
yeah, but when he um yeah, but when we broke up, that was one of the things that he said was that like he had such a huge porn addiction
mhm.
that um he said my views of what sex is very skewed because of that. Like he had an unrealistic expectation of what sex, because porn is supposed to, it is a fantasy,
Mhm.
right? And now because there's so much amateur porn out there that like you can watch just about, you can
Let me
watch
think.
Bobby Sue and, you know, Bobby Joe fucking in their trailer, like, but like
It's always my
real
favorite.
good
Oh no,
porn
see,
is unrealistic.
I'm an amateur kind of guy. I prefer the amateur stuff
You prefer that because because that's more realistic.
because it's more
You're like, I
realistic.
might be able to get my dude to do that. I
I,
might be able to get my chick to do that.
I always my joke always is that you want me to produce the porn, you just don't want me to be in it. Like my brain like makes really great scenes. I
Right,
could
but then are
actually.
they unreal? Are they average everyday like sex? No,
I
that's
don't
my
do,
point in that. That's my
but
point, right?
but I don't do it. I don't do average everyday sex.
Well, that's true too. That's true too.
If I was with somebody, okay, the difference is if I was actually with someone and had a relationship and had more of a connection with them, yes, I probably would have more. Um,
Vanilla,
I'm looking for vanilla, but it's still probably going to be completely vanilla. But I'd have more vanilla loving,
right?
but I'm not. I'm not with somebody. So when I do things, it's normally um, I'm a fuckboy, guys. I'll be honest with you right now. I'm a fuckboy. I'm looking for the
That's what we're talking
experience.
about next week.
That's what we were talking about next week. That's right.
That's what
Um,
we're gonna talk about.
so I'm collecting. I'm typically collecting an experience. Now, what does that
Right.
do for me? Okay, is that I'm not connected to anybody, and I don't have those connections, and I don't have, and it's doing things spiritually, which is why it doesn't happen very often anymore. It's way down from ever.
Yeah.
And because when I do, I have
You're looking for a
issues
different
now,
experience.
right? And it's a different experience, and it's really great. It's almost like getting high. It's a way of numbing. It's a way of all the
Yeah.
things that we talk about all the time. Um, and it's like fast food. The next day, I feel like shit, and I'm probably not in a good headspace, and I probably wasn't in a great headspace to start with.
Right.
So I had to look at that. Um, And how does that relate to porn? I typically look for things that are not normal. Yes, not vanilla. I'm
Well,
looking
I
for
mean,
something
let's be honest. There's every kind of porn you could possibly think
right.
of, down to a friend of mine sent me um, fairy porn. Like he asked me a couple weeks ago, he's like, "Have you heard of fairy porn?" And I was like, "No." Now my first thought was chicks dressing up as fairies, fucking right, like
Uh-huh.
doing a whole fairy. No, that's not what this is. This is like AI anime, the little green. I don't want to say her name, but you know
Yeah.
the pixie that everyone knows and loves, with a big cock upper, like. And of course, he can't just leave it at, do you know this exists? And me say no, but really it doesn't surprise me because of where my mind went to getting pictures. And I was like, I could have lived my whole life without ever seeing that. Thank you.
Um,
Thank you very much. And it
Lindsay,
wasn't from you, Jeff. So, I mean,
it wasn't from
this
me.
was a whole different
I,
person.
I
So
know.
just know you're not the only perv in my life.
Yay. Um, what is really funny is Lindsay see a Disney princess or the Tarzan one.
No, like, I'm good.
I'm going. Next time the Tarzan one shows up on a feed somewhere, it's yours.
No, rude.
Yes.
Rude.
Um,
Well, I don't know. Tarzan. Meh.
I I stopped. So one of the things the only reason I had Twitter for the last 2 years was for porn. And when I realized that, I was like,
What?
oh yeah, Twitter was the best place to get your porn.
Oh, see, learn something new every day.
Yeah.
I'm at the porn game, you guys. I really am. Like, I don't look at, for me personally, like, it doesn't, it used to, but like, it really just doesn't do a whole lot. I would rather use my imagination and get off. And I could do that just fine. Now,
There,
if I was with someone who was into porn, I'd watch porn, whatever. Like,
I tend to read my porn more than I actually
oh
look
no,
at.
that, oh,
Um, there is a site for that.
I might get into that.
I can send you books. Um,
I mean, like,
have you heard of Patricia Logan? She's fucking amazing. If
I mean, I've read some erotica.
yeah, the one that I keep forgetting to grab is Anne Rice's the last one
The
in the beauty.
Sleeping Beauty Chronicles.
Yeah, she
I
wrote
need
a
to get. Can you still get those? Oh, I need to get
yes,
those.
and she
Oh, I need
released the
those.
last one like a year before she died. She released a fourth book, and I
I
didn't
need
read the
to.
fourth book,
I need
Beauty's
to
Kingdom.
get those.
Um, yeah, but it is different, and that's why when I remember what I was going to say. When we were kids, we were looking at Cinemax at 2 a.m. pixelated because we really didn't have Cinemax, or if we did, it was adult content, and
It
so
was
they
Skinamax.
it was
That's why they called it
Skinemax,
Skinamax.
right? So that's what we were doing. It wasn't like we were watching, fairy porn.
That so reminds me. Random thought, but relatable. So I used to be, anyway, I used to do medieval recreation. So we went to, some friends of mine and I went to California to go to this event with the group that we were with. And we needed a place to stay the night before, right? We were going to like drive in the evening. And so some people from the club that we had never met said, "Hey, you could come to our house." And that was just how it was, right? Like, floor space, come hang out, right? So we're in their TV room and we push in the tape, VHS tape, right? This is the kids' TV room, by the way. Yeah, this is where the kids hung out all the time. And it was like big dick porn. It was like, it started up on the screen and we all looked at each other and was like we could not hit the stop button fast enough. And we were like, How do you, and one of the guys I was with, like, he's not quiet about anything, you know? And so I had to instantly go, shut your fucking mouth. Like, shut your fucking mouth right now, Eric. Do not say a fucking word, you know? Yeah, but we popped in a VHS of, we didn't even get into it long enough to know who was on the tape,
Hmm.
but just enough to go, oh, someone's kids are watching something they probably shouldn't be.
When my
And you would
brother,
think the kids would have gotten that shit out of there knowing someone was coming to stay. Like, wouldn't you try to, I don't know, if I was a kid, I would have been like, we need to cover
oh
our
my god, I forgot.
tracks.
Oh my god, I forgot. Can you imagine them up in the room and they can't go down there and like discreetly say, "Hey, I need to grab this real quick." You know,
Right. And I forget what it was labeled something else, obviously, like, you know. But it was not. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. I was like, that's fantastic.
when my brother passed away, I got 3 boxes of DVDs.
Nice.
Yeah. And some of them didn't work. Some of them, it was like things they had collected, like from the early days of internet, and like there was like but it was 3 boxes of different porn situations,
Mhm.
and it was interesting.
Yeah.
And um, and I knew this existed. I knew this existed before, long before he died. And it was kind of a common thing that we knew about. When I've lived with him a few different times, he's like, "Here, do you want something? And here, what are you looking for today? Hey, let me see this package." Because a lot of them were in like the CD cases, you know, like
Right.
the big huge. Wow, that's Gen X there. The zipper.
Book.
Yeah. So yeah, it was like we had all that in, but it is different these days because you can find anything you can possibly come up with. And I think what that does is that does make you want to try different things. I,
Yeah.
I remember when I was in my 20s, I've been out since I was 18. In my 20s, no one ate ass.
Right.
That wasn't the thing. It wasn't something we did. Um,
I still don't get that whole thing, but
oh no, it feels amazing. I'm sorry. Um,
I I'll
as
get
long as it's clean,
right on. Right on.
yeah. It, nowadays,
But are you preparing for, like, never mind. I have so many questions about that now.
yes.
Well, so
And the
that's
answer would be
different.
yes. For most, I do know a couple of people that prefer not, but yeah,
I would say yeah, there's a whole name for that, by the
there
way.
is. There's a
If
whole
you
name for that.
like the smell of dirty ass,
Hmm.
it's a thing. I mean, everybody fucks funny to somebody,
Somebody,
and most people have a kink in some way, you know.
and that's not one of mine. Typically, if I smell it, I'm, I'm done.
Right. I just
Like on either, I don't
I'm
care if I
not,
was a
and
top or
whoever
a
is
bottom.
out there that is listening to this and goes, I want to be with her. I'm not eating your ass. I'm not.
I might if it's clean.
Yeah,
I probably will. Actually,
I
I
just
kind of.
don't. I mean, I'll give
Mm,
you a digit or
yeah.
two. Like, I'm down for that, but
Have you ever grabbed the strap on and like fight someone?
I have not pegged anyone.
Again, porn has ruined me a lot.
Again, not something, but I know now. I know chicks who are into that, and I know guys who have allowed their women to do that purely out of it's something that she wanted to do.
Hmm.
So you know, he 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 said it was not his thing, but he was willing to because she was, it was something she wanted to do. Which, I mean, that's what a relationship's all about. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that I like if my man was like, I have no interest in pegging someone. Let me just put that out there. But like if I was with a guy who he was like, I'd like to feel what that you know, what it feels like or whatever the case may be. Or
Hmm.
because I know men orgasm stronger when there's a digit or two because of the prostate gland. When you milk the prostate, a man will come more.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, this is the one moment where someone, like, literally, that is a sentence that someone popped on.
Right. Yeah. Milk the prostate.
That's amazing. Yeah, and it's definitely something that I could have a whole conversation about prostate and all that, but that's not this conversation. It's about porn. Um, but that is one thing that I've seen huge in my
Yeah.
experience is that, like, that was a big change. So it makes you try things that you might not have tried before. Not makes it gets you interested in trying things that you might not have tried before.
Yeah.
And another one that's gotten really big in the porn thing is like cuckolding. And so
I don't even know what
that
that is.
that is where one partner watches as the other one has sex with someone else.
Oh, I love doing that.
Yeah. Um, so that's been a big,
That's an
huge.
ego thing for me though.
Yeah.
So that's definitely an ego thing for me because like I, that's why I like threesomes, and I don't
Mhm.
necessarily need to be involved in the threesome. I mean, I will. That's cool. But there is something about watching my man, knowing he's my man, get off another woman, and being like, "Yep, bitch, he got you off," but he's I fuck him on a regular basis. Like there's
Yeah.
something primal about
You like
that.
to
That
show them off.
yeah.
I got that.
The one time I tried to have you made porn, is there video of you out there somewhere? There's got to be video of Jeff out there somewhere, I'm sure. I'm sure more than once there's video of Jeff out there.
There are two that I've never seen that I know for a fact
Two?
I've never seen. And I would like those two. This is why I went for office, is so I can get those two back because I was young and cute and, like, you know,
You're like, please let that leak.
that one needs a
That would
leak.
be great.
I need that. So
As far as I am aware, there is no videos of me. Now, one time, one of my friends with benefits, we decided to make a video because I was like talking to another guy, and so I was like, I'm gonna go hit up my fuck buddy, and um, so he took a picture of me on my knees, or he took a video of me on my knees giving him head, right? And so
mhm.
um, only the universe did not want. So the next morning, his whole phone died. And when I say his phone died, I like black screen, no recovering anything on this phone. It like just completely, and and he was like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like there was no saving any of the info on it. He lost all contact, like everything. This phone was destroyed. I think it was the video.
Energy.
Yeah,
How
and
many
he's like,
times
I
have we
took a
sat
video
there?
of you being amazing, and the
How many
universe is like,
times?
we don't think so.
Yeah. How many times have we sat on a call and, like, our internet just, like, totally, like, crashed, the
Yeah,
phones turn off, like, just because the energy exchange was so high.
yeah.
And we've laughed about that many times.
Well, that just tells you what happens when I give
Yeah.
it.
Um.
I break phones and shit when I give it.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think anyone. I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say I don't think anyone wants to see all of this, but that's not true because I know men who want to see all of this.
I talk about that
I
all
know
the time
men
too.
right now that would pay an only like if I had a fans page, I know men right now that would pay to yeah,
I
to be
have a
on that site.
couple. I have a couple that I could probably talk into it. I always I always said that if I was going to do a OnlyFans page, it wouldn't be me on the page. It would be me setting up scenarios.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And so then it would be, and almost worked that out at one point with a couple people that I
Oh,
was,
tears.
yeah.
Once upon a time, if that was available. So that's another one, right?
Hmm.
OnlyFans. Like that is you're paying to watch porn. You're paying for a specific, and there are people both sides that make lots and lots of money off of ass and titty pictures.
This guy, the number one person, I think he's still the number one person on there is Jake Andrix. And he's all over TikTok. If you look at him, you can find him. He's on everything, and he fucking masturbates. His
That's
whole
it.
thing is
There
masturbating,
is something about a dude masturbate. I'm not gonna lie. That is one like, but only if it's they're doing it for me. Like I'm thinking about you right now.
and he's well endowed, built like a brick shit house. He's cute. He has really pretty eyes. I mean, like really, really pretty eyes. I
Because
get
that's
it.
what we're looking at.
I've looked at everything on this
I'm
man.
sure you have.
I have. Um, he was definitely someone I followed on Twitter. Um, so, but yeah, and he does things in such a way that it's ambiguous if he's doing it for a guy or a girl. So he gets
Right.
all of it, and he's hot enough that it doesn't freaking matter. I don't think that any of the girls would even care if he like was getting pegged. Um, yeah,
Right.
like if he was a big old bottom, they would probably still follow it because he's just that hot. Um, he's the one that came up with the whole superhero stuff. You see all the superhero,
Oh,
like,
where they and
yeah, and they're a superhero. He's
right.
the one that started all that.
I have to thank that
Yeah.
man.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I'm missing out on the whole porn access porn. I just have been like it's just never been one of those things that I watched a whole lot of solo. And so but yeah, I mean I not gonna lie. If I'm into a dude and he sends me a video, yeah, I will. Yeah.
I
But I am
don't wait a
also
second,
in
but
I've been in
please,
several spank banks as well, so there's that part.
please specify that if you're into somebody, don't send random.
Correct. Yeah, please don't send random. No, 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 no,
Yes.
no, 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 no. That's creepy. No. No, no.
I had to because I know of
Because
once
and
when
I
it's
did
happened,
say if we are
right?
if like I'm into you and we're
Right.
jiving that way, right.
We've
Not
joked about that because it's happened, and you're like, why? Why did he do this? And yeah,
yeah, why do men send dick pics? Though I can't say anything because I ended up really like I hooked up with a guy who was pretty damn good in bed. Um and he sent me a dick pic and I was like, yeah, you need to come over and use that. But we were already it was dating site, we were already,
yeah.
kind of moving in that direction. I had another guy who his opening line was that he was ginormous for one. Like so we were talking and he said he had like this huge massive dick, which I go, that's not really a turn on. Like there is such a thing as too big, at least for
Mm.
me there is. And size does matter and I do like them on the larger side, by the way. I like a well hung man. I want to feel it in my belly button. What I don't want to do is feel it in my large and in my small intestine,
Yeah.
and I don't want it to reach the top of my uterus. I'm good, thank you. Like but then his other line was, "Do you know so and so?" I don't even remember who the fuck he was talking about, but his ex was a porn star, and I go, uh, "You see my pictures, right? Because I am not a porn star. Like, I am not built like a porn star." I am not, but his baby mama was a porn star. I did end up looking her up. I don't remember who the fuck it is now. It was several years ago, but yeah, like that was his like I don't maybe that worked for him. I don't know if that like that obviously it worked for him. But I was like, you're not winning points with me, dude, because what you're
Eh,
basically saying is that you want porn sex. And, you know, I'm not saying that I'm not down for some porn sex. Don't get me wrong. But you
it's
probably shouldn't lead with
yeah,
that.
that's the fast. It depends on what you're. So it all depends.
Oh,
If
of
you're in
course.
fuckboy mode,
Oh, I've
all
been in fuck. Yeah.
right,
Yes. Yeah.
all is well and all is great. I joke all the time about one of my nieces. She's sweet, pure, and innocent, and she wants a relationship and she wants all these things, and she's in love with this fuckboy,
Right.
and he truly is everything. Like you take one look at him and you're like, he's a poster child for
That's
him,
why we're going to talk about it next
right?
week because,
Because and I'm not shaming anyone at
right.
all. Play your
No.
game, do your game, do what you do.
Right.
What I'm, but you're not going to change a fuckboy into of that unless they're ready. And them saying that they're ready is not probably not when they're ready.
Right.
They have to.
So, how do you think porn affects relationships?
Um, it makes it so that they are kind of obsolete. Ooh, so I'm going to say something really, 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 really horrible.
So, you think that porn makes relationships obsolete?
They can. So,
Ooh.
all right, I'm going to say something really, really controversial here. So, get on the edge of your seat, guys. But there's often times for myself, and I'm going to talk from my own experience, where I can grab my stroker and a good porn, and that's when, and that'll be enough for me, and I don't have to necessarily find someone else to have fun with.
Okay,
And again, that was
so
when someone
right,
else
so
popped
you
on.
can self satisfy. I could see that where self satisfy. I mean, like, I haven't been with anyone in 5 years ish. Um, and yes, of course, purely by choice. I mean, let's be realistic. But
Hmm.
the other side of that is that yeah, like I can just pleasure myself and move on. I don't even need porn for that, by the way. But I mean,
I enjoy a good story. I enjoy a good, like I said, I read more than I actually look at porn. Um, there was a time for a minute last year when I was numbing a lot,
yeah.
and I was using porn a
So porn
lot.
can become an addiction, right? Like
Oh
we
yeah.
need to talk about that because like you say it can make relationships obsolete in the sense that you can pleasure yourself and move on and not have to worry about it. Um it can also ruin relationships, right? Because
Yes.
like my ex who, he's like I have an issue with porn and that was back when it was really starting to become available
Hmm.
online and so you know, and that sort of thing. I also recently know a couple that became an issue as well where she's like, I blew him for 4 hours the night before, and like gave him
Well,
this incredible, amazing blowjob and all these things, and then the next day he's watching porn and jacking off, like, and it made her feel like she wasn't good enough.
mhm.
Like, what did I not satisfy you?
No,
Um,
because you have to do more, and you have to have more, and you have to, and that's part of the thing too, because your brain won't diversify between the porn and you. So you can be watching porn, and you're thinking your brain, just like in movies, if you ever get really excited, the music goes and everything's going, and you're in an action movie and you're like all pumped up and you're amped up and you realize you're kind of like, oh, and you're jacked and you're like, and you walk out of the movie and you're like out of it because your brain doesn't differentiate between that on screen
right.
and you and here. So
I see what you're saying. So you're watching the porn, you're pleasuring yourself. Your brain doesn't know that there's a difference between the porn and
and you, and then on
yeah.
top of that, you're using So you have a death grip. So most men masturbate wrong, incorrectly for their body, the
Oh,
physiological
yeah.
things. So it makes it harder for you to actually get off because you are using too much of a grip. Strokers are really, really
Men,
important,
loosen
guys.
up. This is
Y-
why women can't give you hand jobs.
Right. And then there's the dopamine
Loosen up,
effect.
guys. Loosen up.
So you're flooding you're flooding your body with all that
Right, all
excitement
the
and all that
endorphins
stuff and all the endorphins and all the
yeah,
dopamines, and it becomes a high, and you need more of a high. So that's why when what typically happens is that you start off maybe watching, blowjobs, let's say,
right,
or
whatever,
just
right, and then pretty
sex, or
soon you're
you're looking up, training midget porn, and um, because that's what
all the
you
things
need
that are
now.
politically not correct. We're gonna say in this
We're
one
gonna
thing:
say it in this one,
midget tranny porn.
yes,
Right,
um,
because it's got to be freakier and freakier because you
because that's what it's gonna take for you to hit that
to get
dopamine
high.
button.
It's the same as any other drug, right? So
Right.
at the end of the day, it's the same as any other drug.
Yes.
You start
Um.
out, and then you build a tolerance to it, and then you need more and more and more. And if you're watching it daily, if you're watching it for hours on end, it's one thing every once in a while to for you and your partner to be looking at some porn
Mhm.
together, and or every once in a while you open up your spank bank or whatever the case may be,
Right.
and you know
But it's another thing to look at it as another piece of your social media. By the way, social media does the same thing to you, so we can
right,
talk about that at one point too.
yeah.
It all works the same way. You're getting that little thing. Plus, it's a little dirty. Plus, it's a little secret. Plus, it's
Well, and you can go, so that's the other thing is like you can watch a porn and get off to something that your partner would not be okay with doing,
hmm
right? And so you can get as raunchy and as crass as you want with it because no one will know,
no one known. We're not going to actually do this.
right?
I was reading this story and it was horrible about prison guards like torturing this guy. It ended up getting taken off of the site. I was because it was like it got to a point where it was like this is not okay. Like
Right,
no one should be reading this.
right,
And there's a scene in my book. One of the reasons why my second book never happened for the Green Room series is because the scene that happens is so fucked up in my head. I was like, I can't even. And that's the scene. Like I know that's the scene. I know that's what happens, and I can't take it out, and I can't release it. So it's like, okay, no. Um, so it could get extreme, and you can get
yeah,
to a point where it's super extreme, and it's super like logically. If you take a step back, you're like, I would never even say that out loud.
right.
There
Well,
are
yeah, because
things.
it's a big, well, and that's the other part of it. That's part of the excitement is that you're doing something that is naughty, right? That
Hmm
it's something you're not supposed to be doing or someone wouldn't approve of, right? And so then there's that part of it of getting away with something. It's kind of like having sex in public, right? You just want to get away with it, and you hope and don't hope um that you get caught or don't get caught, right? um so yeah, I mean, I don't know, I haven't watched porn in so long that I don't even know, I wouldn't even know where to start to even look at it. And no, please don't send like your favorite site. I'm not going to pay for it. I'm not going to um but there was a point in time in my life that I looked up some porn. I've looked up some things. And yeah, it works. It definitely works. It's not something I've even thought about for a long time, to be honest. So it's interesting that it's It's so taboo and yet so readily available to so many people that it really can mess things up, right? Um, and I want to know, you guys, if you're listening, like, leave us a comment of, have you ever been in a relationship where porn was an issue? Um, Maybe currently you're having an issue with it. Did it enhance things? Because that's the other side of this conversation, is that if you are both willing to be open to watching it together, of can it enhance the relationship? Because I feel like, if, like, I had no issue watching porn with my ex. I don't have any issue watching porn with any of, my exes, to be honest, or anyone that I'm with. I mean, if that's what you're into, but I would rather you watch it with me sometimes. And I'm not saying that every time you watch porn that we need to be together, but, um, I want to see what it is that you're watching and what you're into. And you never know, if you're open about the porn that you're watching and you are sharing that with your partner, that can actually bring some more intimacy into your relationship. That could be another level of intimacy for you guys, right? Especially if you can find a common ground to, what you both like, right? That would, it might enhance some things. You might find that your partner is a little more open to things than, what you thought they might be, right? But you've never communicated that with them. And you very well could have a partner that wants nothing to do with it and thinks it's absolutely disgusting. But I feel like if you've been with someone long enough, you already know their feelings about that in some way. But I definitely think it could, enhance a relationship as well. Because, I mean, if it's opening your eyes to something that you might want to try that maybe you've never thought about, or whatever the case may be, then it also could do the same for your partner. It could be just something that your partner's never really even thought of before, right? Um, so it could, I don't know, maybe it could enhance your relationship. And we have lost Jeff. We lost Jeff a few minutes ago. I'm trying to see if Jeff rolls back through here, um, as we wrap things up. Because I'm curious to see what he has to say about, um, sexuality. I think it definitely could affect young minds, especially as he was talking about middle school age children watching porn, and then maybe being turned on by something that, that they see, and then having them question their sexuality on whether they are gay or straight or bisexual, or, any of those things. Um, I could see where that could possibly affect youth and their sexuality, right? Because if you hear men, just recently I heard a man say something about, that he would, like, he would never let his wife peg him. And, he said because that's gay, which which is so small-minded and ridiculous. But, um, and he probably didn't say it just like that, but he, so can you imagine a younger child who had an erection or was aroused by a younger child? I shouldn't say that. A teenager, right, who's watching porn and gets aroused and is not quite sure what their sexuality is, that could be confusing to them. So I could see where that might um, affect them. Let me see if, Jeff is working on getting back in here, which is good because now I'm just talking to myself, talking to all you amazing people about the porn effect, right? What is the roles in relationships and sexuality? We were, before Jeff we lost Jeff a few minutes ago. He was saying that it could eliminate relationships altogether, which, I mean, porn for an asexual might be, the way to go, right? Um, I could see where it could become such an issue that it would numb you to being with someone or wanting to be with someone, right? Because why? If I can just watch something and get off on it and I get all the highs and I don't have to do all the work of schmoozing someone and being truly intimate, right? It takes the intimacy out of things as well. That um, I could see where it could damage, I shouldn't say damage, that it could encourage people to not seek out relationships because it is simpler to just get off and move on with their day, right? Just watch a little porn and then move on with their day. Which I hope that society doesn't come to that, because at the end of the day, there is nothing like real sex. There's nothing like physical touching and energy and being intimate with someone, and you could do it all day to yourself, and yes, you're going to get off, and yes, you're going to release those endorphins, but different things happen when you actually mix energy with someone else. And so that those physical real relationships, I think, are just so important, because you need that. We all need physical touch in some way. In some way, we all need physical touch. So if you like having an issue with porn, if you are out there struggling with it, um, let us know, and maybe we can find some resources to help you out. Um, I'm sure there are programs out there that can help with that. I'm sure there's a, addiction groups out there, because porn is a sex addiction, right? If you're addicted to porn, it's a sex addiction in some way, because it's the high of getting off. So I don't know that Jeff's gonna make it back in. He says he's working on it, but we will see, because we're about ready to wrap up. This is our 1 year anniversary show. I cannot believe it. It's been a year, you guys. Thank you for listening and being loyal listeners and coming and checking us out. If this is the first time you've ever listened to one of our podcasts, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. We we talk about all kinds of topics. Tonight is porn. Next week we're going to talk about fuckboys, because that seems to be a hot topic between Jeff and I lately. Not hot as in bad, just that it's come up quite a bit. And yes, you could be a fuck girl as well. Fuck boy is just the term. And that is, when you're playing the field and you're just in it for some pleasure and situations. And there's Jeff. Hi.
Hey, that was fun.
Welcome back.
Hi, guys. I'm so sorry about that. Fun of being out and about and not in my normal places. My phone was plugged in at a different spot, and the dogs decided that wasn't good enough for them, and they unplugged it.
Yay.
Which took off my Wi-Fi, and um, then my phone doesn't want to start, of course, because
It
then
was dead.
it was dead.
It was
Yeah.
dead, dead. Yeah. So next week, fuck boys.
All right, call me out.
It's
I
been
got it.
1 year.
It's been one
We made it
year.
through the first year.
Oh, wait,
We're
wait, wait.
only getting bigger from here. Woohoo! Yay!
One, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year,
Yeah,
one
we
year,
made it
one
through a
year.
year.
I am so
This
excited,
next year we're
guys.
going to grow. It's going to be much bigger. Go check out spiritualsexandcandy.com. We have merch. You can find me and everything that I'm doing over there. all of my social medias, my journal. What do you have going on this week, Jeff? Anything exciting?
Sanctuary on Sunday. Um, go to orangedragonflycenter.com or go into Spiritual Sex and Candy. All the links are always there. Um, but we have Sanctuary on Sunday. Uh, it's going to be amazing. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but it's not going to be what I talked about last week. Uh, promises, promises. I think we're going to talk about how life is a conversation
Love it.
and kind of change our idea of what life really looks like, or vibration, because we haven't been talking about vibration a lot, which is kind of funny. I used to talk about it all the time, and I haven't talked about it in a long time.
Right, but yeah,
You never know.
we're not gonna go there. Um, Jeff fought me for so long on his gifts, and I don't do that, and I don't know what you're talking about. And then he pops off with 10 years ago, I had all of these videos about vibration and meditations and all this stuff. After like the whole time I've known him, he's like fought me tooth and nail about doing any kind of energy work. And then every time I turn around, he's like, oh yeah, I forgot. I
I
used to
forgot
do
about this.
this. I forgot about these. Oh yeah, that one time when I had a podcast that talked about vibration and
Raising your vibration. Doing. I was teaching a in Tuesday's meditation this past Tuesday. I did a meditation from Dr. Wayne Dwyer that I learned like 13 years ago that I haven't thought about in like at least seven. Like I haven't even thought about, and it all came up because Spencer, one of our really good friends. If you guys don't know Spencer, get to know him. Um, he was leading a meditation. He was bringing up something from heart math, and I'm like, oh yeah, heart math. Oh, you found the heart math stuff. Cool. And like started spewing off, some facts, and like I know this
yeah,
person and that person, and like I actually know like three of the people that founded Heart Math Institute. And so when I first started learning meditation, that's why I learned. And he's like, "Who are you?"
exactly, exactly.
I know, I know. I got stuck in the mundane for a minute. Had to do productivity for a
I'm just
while.
saying.
I,
I'm just
I,
saying.
I'm I'm starting to come back to myself. I'm starting to come back to who I was when I
We
started.
all
I
do
got
it.
it.
You're not
Had to
that
do
same
that circle.
person. You're a different person now.
I am.
So you're
I
not
am. But
going back to that person. You are bringing parts of that person into who you are now.
I'm trying to remember who. I'm trying to remember what that person taught. Like that person. Um.
And I'm the opposite. I need to get
Yeah.
back to teaching. But that's
Yeah.
a whole nother episode.
That's a whole nother
You
episode.
guys can find me on over on the talk Tuesdays and Thursdays about 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. I do live card pulls if you'd like a card pull. If you want a one-on-one, go to spiritualsexandcandy.com. You can find me on all my social medias there. What else? What else? Guess what I'm doing on Thursday?
What are you doing on Thursday?
I'm gonna go get another tattoo on Thursday.
Oh, that's right. Yay! Where are you getting?
Yay for tattoos. A potion bottle,
Oh, cool.
but it's drawn by the girl who's doing the tattoo. It's her artwork. And I saw it on her wall and I said, I need that on my body.
I love it.
And then it ties into what I want to do with my upper arm. So it's going to be like,
I love it. I saw the.
yeah.
Um. If you guys didn't see my Facebook post last night, I did the. Everyone's making their stuff into action figures, and I thought it was funny. So I said, okay, let me try it. And the one has a big tattoo on his chest, and actually like that tattoo. And I'm like, maybe I'll get, but my chest is hairy. I would never show. So I might give myself, a weight goal, and then because
Oh, there you
if
go. Then that's your,
my
yeah.
reward.
All right, you guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Our year anniversary, talking about porn. We love all you
fun.
guys. Go
We
check
love
all
you.
of our stuff out at spiritualsexandcandy.com. Have a good night. We love you.
Everyone here at the True Awesome Network asks you to please subscribe, like, comment, and spread awesome.